If you're a singing teacher or coach watching this video during the coronavirus quarantine, then I'm guessing you're right in the middle of the transition to online teaching. But even if the quarantine is over, teaching at least a portion of your students online is an incredible way to expand your reach and to scale your voice studio. Make sense? That's why in today's video, we're going to cover how to make the leap to online teaching. Hi, I'm Fiona, your coach for all things singing, including mindset, marketing, and monetization. Are you a singer or performing artist interested in a profitable, consistent, sustainable career? Then take a moment to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. New videos every Wednesday. I know this is a scary time for many of you, and having to suddenly start teaching online was not your plan. Even so, adding online coaching to your repertoire is a great way to help your students now, attract new students in the future, and increase your own bottom line in general. That's why I created this video for you, and also a free guide specifically designed to help you make the transition to teaching online. You can download from the link in the description below. So now let's get to it and cover my top 10 tips for making the transition to online teaching. Sound good? Tip 1 is to stick with your current rates. I keep seeing anxious teachers in Facebook groups asking if they need to lower their rates now that they're teaching online. Let me repeat, do not lower your rates. Online or in person, you're bringing your wealth of experience and expertise to the lesson. Don't underestimate your value. Your students need you. They need to sing right now. They need your mentorship, and they need the normalcy and routine of their regular singing lessons. Yes, there are a few limitations built into the online format, like not being able to physically demonstrate certain techniques in the same room and placing hands on the jaw or the rib cage. The sound can also be mildly distorted, which will impact how well you hear. But there are also gains to the new format, like the ease and quality of recording the lessons, focusing on areas you might not have noticed in person, the lack of commute, and the general continuity of learning. Bottom line, don't lower your rates because you think online lessons have less value, okay? Online or not, singing lessons have great value, and so do you as a teacher. Your students are lucky and grateful to have you and their lessons during this difficult time. Now, there is an exception to this policy that has nothing to do with the quality of the lesson and everything to do with the individual student's financial situation. If you have students out of work because of COVID, you can, of course, adjust your rates, offer scholarships, and a need-based sliding scale to your studio policies. In fact, a need-based sliding scale is often a good thing year-round. Don't worry about the platform, but Zoom is probably the best. Are you already on Zoom? Let me know in the comments. I didn't start using Zoom until one of my own business mentors introduced me to it last year. Now, it's my favorite. But in the past, I've used Skype, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, and GoToMeeting. They all work. So don't let this part of the technology slow you down. To start, just use whichever platform you and your students are most familiar with. Sound good? Then, after you get comfortable with the whole idea of teaching online, you'll probably want to make the switch to Zoom. Or you can just start with Zoom in the first place. Totally up to you. A couple of the nice things about Zoom are that it's very reliable. You can share your screen and easily record both audio and video of the entire lesson. That said, let me repeat, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is you and your student meeting for the lesson, you teaching and your student singing. Keep in mind, there will be a lag. You just need to go into the lessons knowing this in advance so you can make the appropriate adjustments. Yes, there will be a lag on all the free platforms. If you want to upgrade, look into voicelessons.com, which advertises that it has dealt with the lag issue. I haven't tried them myself, so let me know in the comments what you think, okay? And speaking of paid platforms, both voicelessons.com and teacherzone.com are paid services created to help teachers manage their studios, including billing, scheduling, reminders, and learning management. There are links in the description below. Tip 4, don't accompany your students on warm-ups or songs. In fact, most of the lesson should be a cappella. Why? because the lag that you didn't notice when speaking will suddenly become quite obvious when you try to line up your playing and their singing. For warm-ups, introduce the exercise via call and response. Once your student understands what's required, switch to just giving them their starting note or chord in between each phrase. And definitely make sure your student has accompaniment tracks in advance of the lesson. These are easily found on YouTube, karaoke sites, iTunes, etc. You can also record your own accompaniment tracks and email them to your student in advance. If you're not a classical teacher and/or you're like me and don't play piano well, you're probably already using and loving tracks. And by the way, I created 2 videos about how to teach when you're not a great pianist. One for playing warm-ups and another one about teaching songs. If this is an issue for you, watch them next. Now, if you're a classical teacher and firmly believe singing to tracks is a terrible idea, let that limiting belief go. Tracks are a wonderful way for your students to be able to sing through whole songs right now when you can't reasonably accompany them. You with me? In terms of the tracks, your students should have 2 devices ready for use during the lesson. One that runs the actual lesson. Personally, I like my computer because it's the biggest screen, and one for playing their accompaniment tracks. Advise your student to keep the playback device away from other interfaces to avoid static interference. You and your student should also close all other Wi-Fi apps on your devices to reduce the likelihood of an overloaded internet connection. That's clear, right? And if the connection does get interrupted, go ahead and plan to hang up and resume a new call immediately. This is rarely necessary, but great to know it's an option. No problem, okay? And don't forget to download my free guide on how to make this transition as smooth and easy as possible for you and your students. Link in the description below. One thing you'll notice once you get underway is that your students won't hear you or see your subtle body language while they're singing. So plan to use hand signs to get your students' attention and let them know what the signs will be in advance. The most important one is basically just stop. You can use something like this, just like you're a conductor. Just don't try to talk over them singing or gesture with your body because it's just not visible. A simple hand gesture straight to the camera will be clearest. Tip 8 is to ask questions. Since it's sometimes hard to really hear at the same level online as you do in person, ask more questions about the student's experience, especially how it feels. This will give you plenty of information about tension and tone. Well, Fiona, this is all great, but what do I do when it comes time for payment? My students usually pay me in person with check or cash. Listen, getting paid is easy, and in fact, now you'll never run into students who forget to go to the ATM. And you'll also now be able to take credit and debit cards. Isn't that fantastic? Seriously, there are a lot of free payment services, and my advice is to get on several of them. You really want to make it as easy as possible for your students to pay you, which I talk about in this video here. PayPal and Venmo are the most obvious, but Square is also great and includes invoicing, as does Stripe. Just Google payment processing for small businesses and you'll get a ton of options. You can also ask your current students what they like to use best. Make this as easy as possible for both you and your student. And lastly, be patient and have fun. As with everything, there'll be a learning curve to making this switch. However, it really doesn't have to be difficult or heavy. Just give yourself some time to adjust and focus on the positives of the experience. Think about how great it is that you even have this option instead of having to cancel lessons. Think of the abundance of platforms to choose between. And now you can teach students from all over the world, not just in your local area. Remember, your students with car or driving challenges that'll no longer need to commute. No more cancellations because of flat tires. And most importantly, this is one of the first steps after raising your rates to scaling your voice studio. Isn't that exciting? You can learn even more about scaling your voice studio in this video. I really hope these tips will help you to quickly and easily make this transition to teaching online. Remember, your students will be thankful you did. And at the end of the day, it's just one more added bonus you can add to your studio inventory. You with me? And definitely download my free guide. I created it to help you get started. Link in the description below. Now, help me to scale my own business by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you won't miss a single video. And definitely let me know in the comments below what other topics you'd like me to cover to help you with your singing business. And since you watched to the end of this video, you're definitely interested in teaching. So you'll want to check out these videos on running and scaling your voice studio. And now, as always, go out into the world and let your light shine. You deserve to be heard, and the world deserves to hear you.